In the name of Almighty Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. As Muhammad, peace be upon him, narrated, if anyone travels on a road in search of knowledge, Almighty Allah will cause him to travel on one of the roads of paradise. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Tariq Masood. Thank you very much for watching my videos and your wonderful support to make this channel a grand success. We are a family partner. Please share and subscribe our channel if you haven't done so far. We as a team can work together to convert challenges into opportunities and opportunities into success stories. These success stories can be monetized into value addition in the world by large. Thank you very much for your precious time. Today I'm going to discuss my lecture number 9, Center of Excellence, governing a pathway delivering on commitment, differentiated performance, enabling profit optimization process. So today I'm going to start my hazard study guidelines section 1. Okay, so before my lecture I used to read a Quranic verse. Qala Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli Allahumma Rabbi zidni ilma. O my Lord, open my chest and ease my task for me, and loose a knot from my tongue that they may understand my saying. Allahumma Rabbi zidni ilma, O Allah, advance me in my knowledge and true understanding. Okay, today I'm going to give the purpose of the Center of Excellence. The first one, to demonstrate the purpose, where we are now, where we want to be, what to do, and how to do. These are the 4 segments or 4 pillar or ladder logic to reach to the purpose of Center of Excellence. Okay, Center of Excellence, lecture number 9, Hazard Study Guidance, section number 1. Okay, in my earlier stream, we have discussed HAZOP, 8 lecture on hazard study guidelines. Today we are going to discuss hazard identification management system. Today we are going to start. This is the first lectures, and probably it will be a 5 to 6 lecture. We are going to discuss objective, hazard identification, and scope, overall structure, application, feasibility study, concept optimization, a feed, APEC, etc. Okay, so from my next slide, we are going to discuss key takeaway points from the hazard study. Okay, key takeaway points from hazard study guidelines, section number 1, introduction, scope, application, and terminology. Today we are going to discuss. Okay, forward message. This document has been developed by corporate HSE Sport Department, reviewed and added by the Corporate Quality and Management System Department, and circulated for review by the User Department before being endorsed by the relevant oil and gas business corporate to provide a guideline for hazard identification study. This document is published for oil and gas companies, contractor, consultant utilization. It shall be emphasized that the document is to be used for any oil and gas operations as deemed applicable and appropriate. Okay. This document is subjected to periodical review to reaffirm its adequacy or to conform to any changes in the corporate requirement for or to include a new development on the subject matter. Okay, it is recognized that there will be cases where agenda or other clarification need to be attached to the guidance to suit a specific application or services environment. As such, The content of the document shall not be changed or re-edited by the user, but any addendum to clarifications entailing a change shall be brought to the attention of the custodian department of oil and gas company. The custodian of this document is a corporate HSE department. So, therefore, all comments, views, recommendations shall be forwarded to me, as I have provided my email address to further discuss and improve its contents. Okay, hazard study introduction. Hazard is a technique for early identifications of potential hazards and threat from a project, plant, or plant modification. It is therefore likely to be the first formal HSE-related study for any new project. The major benefit of hazard is that early identification and assessment of the critical HSE hazards provide essential input to project development decisions. This will lead to safer and more cost-effective design options are being adopted with the minimum cost of change penalty. Okay, next is the hazard scope. This guidance covers the structure, responsibility, and technique of the hazard study. Okay. So hazard application. The hazard study for a project and cover all phases of the project, including feasibility study, concept optimization of feed, EPIC, operation and decommissioning, abandonment phase where there is a potential for hazard to human safety, environment, or asset or production loss. Okay, policy. Any oil and gas company is committed to protect the health and safety of its employees and other that may be affected by the activities and to give a proper regard to the conservation of the environment. Okay, any oil and gas company policies to conduct its activity such that it strives toward an incident-free, secure, safe, and healthy workplace. Safety studies and reviews shall be performed during the course of a project or modification to any existing facilities. This is to identify, qualify, quantify, and to establish that design safety measures shall provide adequate protections and mitigate any risk involved with the proposed project development or the modification. Okay. Hazard terminology. Hazard study terminology. First is a cause. Factor contributing alone or in combination with others to a hazard and its consequences. Okay. The second is consequences. Number of fatalities or serious injuries and or effect on the personal safety, productions, economics loss, environment loss likely result from the occurrences of the hazards events, that is consequences. Number three is a contractor. Contractor who perform a services for the project as defined by any oil and gas company. Next is a control. Existing measures to prevent, control, or to mitigate the consequences of the hazards events. Okay, hazard. A source of potential harm or damage or a situation with potential for harm or damage. Next is the hazard. The hazard identification study method is the application of a formal systematic examination to each area of the installation with a checklist of hazards where it is agreed that hazard exists in a particular area. The risk presented by the hazard is considered and all possible means of either eliminating the hazard or controlling the risks are noted on a hazard worksheet. Qualitative risk assessment of the hazards is carried out using the standard and oil and gas risk assessment metrics during the hazard study. Next is the incident. Unplanned event or chain of events which have caused or could have caused injury, illness, or any damage, loss to assets, the environmental or a third party. Next is the independent. Okay. The term of hazard chairperson and secretary shall mean having no association with the project under study. Okay. Prevention. Measures put in a place to prevent a threat from releasing a hazard. Next is a protection. A risk. Okay. A combination of likelihood and consequences of a specified hazard event occurring. Okay. Risk mitigation. Involve identifying the range of options for treating a risk, evaluating those options, selecting the preferred treatment strategy, preparing risk mitigation plans, and implementing them. Okay, threat. The possible causes that could potentially release the hazard and a procedure and incident. The last is a protection. All technical, operational, and organizational measures that prevent the occurrence of an incident or limit the chain of consequences arising from it. It includes both threat controls and recovery measures. Okay, from the next slide, we're going to discuss abbreviations, which are going to be discussed during my study. Okay, first is the APEC. So, the APEC, engineering, procurement, installation, and commissioning. ESD, emergency shutdown. Feed of front-end engineering design. Foreign gas system. HAZOP, the hazard and operability study. Okay. Next is the HSC, hazard and effects, hazard identification, HSC, health, safety and environment, LP, loss prevention, P&Is, piping instrumented diagrams, then PFD here, so process of flow diagram. Next is the PFC. Okay, PFS, process of flow scheme, then PIN, project initiation note, QRA, qualitative risk analysis, RAM, so the risk assessment metrics. From the next slide, we are going to discuss our related document during the hazard study guidelines. Okay, hazard related document, these are essentials. First is a guideline for registering hazards and effects. Number second, a major capital projects approval procedures. Number three, non-major capital project approval procedures. Number four, management of health safety in capital projects. Okay. Conclusion. Today we have discussed introduction, hazard scope, hazard application, hazard terminology, hazard abbreviation. Okay. Hazard related documents. My next lecture, we are going to discuss methodology and approach. Okay. Few references here. The first is Qatar Petroleum Doha, Qatar, where I have spent 24 years. Oil and Gas Development Corporation Limited, Pakistan, where I have stayed 3 years. World Energy Outlook 2013, US Geological Survey, US Department of Energy, Schlumberger's Oil Field, International Energy Agency IEA, Wikipedia, Oklahoma State Marshal Commission Pumpers Manual, State Oil Facts Sheet, NORJ, NOR6 Standard Norway, Story of Oil in Pennsylvania, Liquid Gas Encyclopedia, Natural Gas from Wellhead to Burner Tip. Okay, please do not hesitate to send me your feedback comments at t.masood.dr@bath.edu. Together, everyone achieve more. Please stay at home, inspired and blessed. Thank you very much for your precious time.